We have everybody in the entire broadcast community, radio and records. Randy West here with my girlfriend and her boyfriend, but we'll talk about that later. This is the 2014 lunch, but we're doing it in 2015 because it all revolves around art and airfares and stuff like that. Joey Reynolds, legend, the great, from Buffalo to Hollywood to New York, and now, what can I say, a citizen of the world.
There's about 39 more cities you can mention, but let's not go there. No, this is really an interesting thing to come to a museum that remembers rock and roll and music, and Steve Resnik's house is where we're at.
Right. Speaking of, we're getting the cue here to wrap it up. But Joey, it's
Why?
wonderful. Why? Because it's a star-studded cast.
Oh, you mean you want a bigger name?
Bigger names are in the house.
Okay,
Joey Reynolds, we love you, and it is at Steve Resnik's house, the
Clark is
museum.
coming over here.
Well, let's bring him on down. Come on down.
Wally, you don't have to. You can just segue right into this whole thing.
Wally Clark.
Hello, how are you?
Great. This is a legend. You know, only Art Vuolo doesn't know who he is. Everyone else knows that Wally was general manager of KISS FM, the #1 billing radio station in America when radio meant something.
Or the world.
Yeah, of the world.
Yes.
I'm sorry to demote you.
Internationally, it wasn't so hot, but we won that too. So
there you go. You send out transcripts in all the different languages.
Yeah.
Is that it? Yeah.
Well, it's all been a joy. You know, so I've really enjoyed it. So.
And with a background, it goes back. You told me about a Paul Harvey story one time.
Right, Paul. When I was working in St. Louis, he had a farm nearby, and would come in and do his shows in the morning, and he'd call me and he'd say, "Well, get the staff ready," because he wanted everybody to see him. And he was suit and tied and would get all dressed and looking sharp, and he'd go into studio and was disappointed if everybody didn't come watch him do it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Here's a guy that was so well known and so accepted and had a couple of news machines just like everybody else in America to work from, and yet he knocked
spun
them,
gold.
He knocked them dead.
Yeah, with all that kicker stuff.
So
Yeah.
he just showed you that it was what was within him that made it happen.
So they say nobody reads the newspaper anymore. They use it for under the dog, but in reality, this man knows how to write newspapers. From the LA Daily News, your radio and TV column.
Yes, the last man standing.
That's right. That's right. And they cut that job out of the Daily News, but you are surviving on other papers now.
No, they cut it at the Register.
Oh.
Daily News still runs it.
I did not know that.
So it's in all the Daily News, Daily Breeze, Press Telegram, all the LA newspaper group newspapers.
Daily Breeze, it sounds like something for feminine hygiene.
I know. But I thought that when I delivered it, too, when I was a kid. I ate lunch with Wally Clark, and I'm trying to convince him to go back to KISS FM as general manager.
Wow. Is there still a KISS FM?
I heard there is.
Oh, okay.
Not what it used to be.
No, goodness gracious.
And I think it'll work.
You've seen them all come and go.
But I think it'll work. All we have to do is get rid of Clear Channel.
Oh. Well, the banks are doing that. Oh, now Don. Oh, Don.
Oh, are we on the air
now,
yet?
Don.
Oh, no.
Sing, Dennis. Now,
No.
Don.
Oh, Jackie, you're doing great, Jackie E. Benny.
Jackie
Yes,
Benny,
oh,
as
Mr.
opposed to
Benny.
Jackie Leonard. I certainly hope so,
Hey,
for your
yes,
sake.
yes,
You'll
yes.
never lose that shirt. It's checked.
Okay.
Now,
I
listen,
have a
this is
friend.
the Ice Cream King, and record promotion, of course, is where we all know
Oh,
you
I have
from.
20 gold records. Yes, for
Really?
promoting records. Yes, I do.
My goodness
yes,
gracious.
And I didn't buy any of them. No, they gave them to me.
I cannot believe. No, that's great. You have a tremendous legacy.
Yo.
The lady. So THC. Don.
I guess he thinks I'm Dean Martin. Is that why you went, "Oh, lady"?
Yeah, right. He knows all the old references.
Oh,
So
God.
next time we see you, you'll be flat out on the floor on your THC ice cream.
No, it doesn't get you that way.
Oh, even
It
better.
takes you higher. Thank you, Sly.
I'm going over to his house.
Yes.
And look, it's Kevin Gershon.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
Now, Kevin's looking good. You're looking svelte, losing a lot
Trying
of weight.
to get
Yeah.
in shape for the new year.
Well, and it's working well. But now
Thank you.
Kevin's in the Gold Circle Club because he hired me. It's a small group of people in the last decade, so I just want to thank you for that.
His mother asked if I would, so I did.
You know, Kevin's got that great radio background. Robert W. Morgan, you produced that show.
I did.
For so long. You were an intimate of
I was a KHJ groupie when they were on 5515 Melrose next to the Paramount lot.
Right.
And I used to get thrown out of there all the time as a punk kid, and I'd get hung up on trying to win the contest. And
so how did you break through to being behind the glass?
I finally got a shot to be a paid intern at K100 when Morgan and Steele and Drake all went to K100.
Yeah, on K100
in the 6430 Sunset Building where CNN
where
is now.
I worked at Magic, and
we eventually went back there.
Right.
So I was a paid intern there. Then I got a job working on what they used to call the Sports Wire at KMPC, at Gene Autry's KMPC at 858 Sunset.
Right.
And Morgan was one of the two full-time, part-time guys who eventually went on to become the morning man there to replace Whitting Hill after 30 years.
Wow.
So I produced his show there. We went to Magic 106 together in '84.
Right. And used my studio, but I told that story.
We
last
did
year.
use your studio.
Yeah. He's supposed to be off at 9 at noon. He's still signing autographs.
Still doing that. Then back to KMPC after Magic. Then eventually KERRI 101 where he finished up his career.
And you segued into Entertainment Tonight. Well, I love this guy, Kevin Gershon.
Thanks.
Always a pleasure to see him at the 2014.
And thanks to Art, who makes all this happen, and for Steve Resnik for this lovely home.
Can't beat that. KRAIG Kitchen, who, my God, now you're doing some new stuff, but we know you best from...
You know me best from maybe Premier Networks?
There you go.
Okay.
Exactly.
Sure.
Now, how long were you there?
20 years.
Well, that ought to do it for you.
Right.
If you can't figure it out by then.
No.
Yeah. And now you're into some newer stuff I want to know about.
Right. So now I run a company called Sound Mind that manages radio personalities.
You can manage these people?
Yeah. So
they're manageable?
No, they're not. But here's the thing. You try to at least stay one step ahead just to keep them out of trouble a little bit and kind of help in the process. So. But I get to work with people like Delilah and George Norrie and Rush and Glenn Beck and Jim Rome and
wow, these are the major personalities. These are the headline makers of the once great medium.
The once great medium. The one that's been written off how many times, right?
Exactly.
I can't believe the memorabilia that is here. I don't know what, there's just more legendary stuff in this Steve Resnik household.
Yeah.
It is a museum.
You stepped into where Bruce Dumont was?
Right.
So it was connected with the Dumont family,
right.
The fourth television network before ABC even.
Exactly.
And that museum is in Chicago. And tell us about your involvement there.
Right. So Bruce started 26 years ago the National Radio Hall of Fame and the Museum of Broadcast Communication. I asked this year if I could take over the National Radio Hall of Fame and start to run it, and to do so to make sure that it has a long runway. When somebody does something for 25 years, that's a real accolade, but at the same time, a little new energy sometimes really is a big thing.
Freshen it.
Everybody in our industry knows that if you are on the air, there is a place for your talents to be recognized when your career is either in its hindsight years or, just going on like Shotgun Tom's is just a living legend on the air kicking ass today.
My God, respect for radio personalities.
And
that makes me want to cry.
Right, and that's what the National Radio Hall of Fame is all about.
Ladies and gentlemen, the last time I saw you was probably at your star ceremony, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, please.
Shotgun Tom, you better believe it, baby.
Have mercy. Here we are at the Dream Lunch right here at Steve Resnik's place.
Well, you're a legend in San Diego with your nose pressed against the glass to get into the business.
Yes, that was at KCBQ, yeah.
Yes, in the business, and now you come to L.A., and I think you've been at KERRI now longer than Real Don Steele.
Well, I'm going on my 18th year.
No.
So 7th, you better believe that, baby.
My God.
Yeah.
18 years at an L.A. radio station.
Thank you.
With tremendous numbers. The town knows you. The town knows your hat. The MDA telethons over the years, too, to broaden the demo.
Yeah.
But you got that star on the Walk of Fame right next to Real Don Steele.
I
the
did,
turnout was phenomenal, and the Chamber of Commerce called me this morning. A dog just pooped on it.
Oh, my goodness gracious. We got to do something about that, Brandy.
You have people.
Yes,
but you
I
brought
do.
in, whoever's putting this thing together, was able to bring in 80s music, which isn't totally compatible with
Chris
the 60s
Evatt.
stuff.
Chris Evatt, a great PD, man.
And it works. It all
does
is
work.
cohesive.
It
and
does.
you tie it all together.
And we still have the Johnny Man jingles.
You better believe it.
Have mercy.
Yeah.
Shotgun Tom Kelly, K-Earth 101.
Now, look who's here.
Oh, look who's here.
Joel Denver.
Randy.
Now, Denver, that's where they're smoking pot now.
Ooh, right.
You were way ahead of your time
buddy,
when you picked that name.
I'm telling you something.
Way ahead. You were smoking pot back when the record companies used to buy it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, right. Long before
You're so
cocaine, there
funny.
was marijuana. It was unbelievable.
Randy,
Now, I understand.
Why is that shirt green? Is this
It's
green?
the color of money.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Color
of your pot, right.
Exactly. Oh, I see. It was another. You topped me on the marijuana
I had
reference.
to do something
I
there.
didn't
It's
even
like,
see it
I had
coming.
to dig myself out of that hole.
I love it. I love it. Now, radio personality, programmer, and now for how many years have you been doing
We are
it?
starting our 20th year at AllAccess.com.
AllAccess.com. And stations turn to you not only for the news and views, but also for record service, music service.
Yeah, that's right. We're digitally delivering music now, and it's a lot of fun. So.
Digitally. Last time I had digital, it was my doctor. It was my proctologist.
Oh, bend over for that one.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, digital download. Yes. That's like the constipated mathematician who worked it out with a pencil.
But a bing.
Yes, but enough about you. I mean, I love this guy. You know, for years and years, I only saw him at conventions, and you know, we didn't talk to each other because you were hot shit and I was cold diarrhea. But now that I know you, I realize all the years we've missed.
Exactly. What a good guy. What a good guy. Funny man here, too, you know? Without Art Vuolo and Steve Resnik, this would all not happen, this little radio dream lunch. And all of us guys get together, hang out, tell some really bad radio stories, and have some yucks and stuff like that. And remember, gosh, this is why we're in this business.
Exactly.
So thank you, Art. Steve, you're downstairs giving the tour, but thank you very much, too. We love you both very much. Happy New Year and a happy 2015.
My God, I didn't know you were in the military.
Yeah, I know.
Look at that.
Kind of cute, you know what I mean?
I had no idea. What army is this? What country is this?
United States Marine Corps.
Well, I mean, serious? My God, I had no idea. This is Chris Eric Stevens. A guy who's so important he has 3 names.
That's true. You got to put the middle name in there, otherwise it doesn't happen.
Exactly. Now we know you from major market radio.
Yeah,
and
did a
then,
little LS in Chicago and CFL and a couple of those things.
Name dropper.
Yeah.
And then a tremendous voiceover career.
Yeah.
I mean,
thank God for that. Yeah, thank for that. Yeah.
Tell us just some of the credits. Some of the people you've
I've done a lot of voiceovers. I mean, I'm on a lot of stuff. HBO, I do ABC, I did a lot of different things over the years. The Orkin Man, one call destroys them all. You know, that kind of stuff like that.
I love it.
Pontiac, all kinds of stuff. You know?
All right, and you built your own studio in Studio City. You had a facility there.
Yeah, I did my own company for a lot of years, and then Movie Tunes was kind of the.
I walked in the movie theater after paying retail. You know, I don't pay retail for anything. And here's this guy's voice. I could call him for free and hear his voice.
It was a captive audience.
$12, and I'll get to listen to him, for God's sakes. Every movie theater seemed like across the country.
Yeah,
it was great. Yeah. And now you have, like everybody else, a studio in the home, ISDN.
Yeah.
And you work in your underwear. You're the only guy who works in his underwear who's not in the sex trade.
Wears this coat.
Exactly. Chris Eric Stevens. That was 90 seconds. We did it.
Okay.
Look at this, another radio legend.
Well, that's
Jesse
me,
Torero,
baby.
Jesse
That's right.
Torero, Jesse Torero. Sounds like a wrestler.
Torero.
Ay, caramba!
That's right.
Is
Jesse
that how
T.
you got all that work? Because you had the Hispanic
You know
thing
something,
going
I
for
always
you?
fill the quota, baby.
Yeah, that's it,
right.
man.
I always fill the quota.
I wanted to pass myself off as an American Indian.
Man, I could be black, brown, red, green, yellow, or purple. I could be Asian, Latino, Mexican.
And
I could be
last
whatever it
night
was.
for $20, you dressed up as a woman.
Yeah, it was a red satin
Whatever
dress,
you need to
baby.
be,
That's
it was
right.
the best.
Hey, the brown beauty's on duty, looking for some tight booty, baby. 1580 K-Day, AM stereo, 50,000 watts. Breaking it. The union caught me working at 2 stations at once.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I had to pick, and I picked K-Day because it was on the air full time.
And because Alan Freed died there. So
and
why
Wolfman
not?
Jack was there.
Good
Everybody
God.
was there. When I touched those old RCA dials, man,
Yeah.
it was the coolest thing in the world.
you got-
Alvarado and Glendale,
Oh,
a signal
wow.
that went to Chile and Alaska
Ay,
at night,
caramba.
but not past Montebello. And
Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse T. I'm going to on a first name basis.
that's right, Jesse T. and the place to be, rocking the place for you and me.
Now, when I started in radio, general managers wore ties. But look at this guy, so cool. General manager, I know you, Bob Moore, as KLSX, classic rock.
Yes.
You had a great radio station with some great personalities. Phil Hendry, who became legendary in talk, was a disc jockey, a
That's
music
exactly
guy.
right. He was my morning man.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
That's right.
Yeah. So how did you end up at KLSX?
Actually, I was arrested.
You went in with a gun one day and said, I'm taking over.
True story.
Yeah.
The company that bought it, Greater Media, small company
out of Philadelphia.
Out of Philadelphia.
Julian Breen.
Right, recruited me to come in. I was working in television at the time. I'd left radio and was working in independent television. And I told them, I said, do yourself a favor. They paid $4.5 million for KGBS FM.
Oh, is that what
changed it to
KLSX
K-Hits, and then changed it to KLSX, but then I said, you seem like very nice people. Keep your $4.5 million, go back to Philadelphia. 9 months later, I came over, became the general manager, and it was a phenomenal run.
And you were always cutting. I mean, you even jumped on who was the guy in the OJ trial?
Cato Kalin.
Cato Kalin. I mean, you're always jumping on trends and taking advantage of opportunities.
I had Ober and Olson. I had Cato Kalin.
It was great stuff.
I had the regular guys.
And you listened. I know people, you felt like you were missing something if you weren't tuning in.
That was the whole idea. It was Seinfeld 24 hours a day.
Hey, I like that. 30 seconds?
I'm running a Sports USA.
Sports book?
It's a sports book, but also a radio. We broadcast live NFL and NCAA football games on radio.
Well, damn.
So we're across 350 radio stations.
My God. CBS just paid what for TV rights for Thursday night or whatever?
Insane.
Billions.
Billions, yeah.
Fucking ponderous, man.
Sports is a big business, and we're knee-deep in football.
Now, we just mentioned you.
I know. Well, with Bob Moore, who's my one of my greatest general managers I ever worked for, he was referencing me, but it's none of it's true. all I did was, I just said to Bob when he hired me in '97, I said, can we just hire some actual air personalities? Because they did have Cato Kalin and Cindy Brady and Vox the Rock and Roll Psychic, and we put some talk shows on there, and it was a good 12-year run at KLSX.
And where were you before?
Oh, Christ.
Well, did you do mornings for him, too?
I got to L.A. in like '87. I worked for Rick Dees. I produced the Rick Dees show for a bunch of years, and then I came back to L.A. in '97 to work with Bob.
But that was the frequency, 97.1.
That was a great frequency. And
is that how you work a career? Is that how it works? So in '98, you went to...
I don't go any lower than 92, and I don't go any higher than 105.1.
Well, yeah, any higher you want to go to the hospital. That's a high fever.
Correct. And now I'm working for Westwood One, run a NBC Sports Radio Network, which is really fun too. I really like sports, and I like working with the athletes. Unlike most air personalities, these guys know how to look at tape. Right. They know how to. they like to be managed. They like to be coached. So guys like Donovan McNabb or Rodney Harrison or Amani Toomer, big athletes, it's actually pretty interesting versus some bunch of crybaby disc jockeys.
Hey, there you go. Now this is a legend. Neil Ross, you've heard him a million times. You narrate so much stuff on cable channels and, Discovery type things.
Whenever they let me.
Yeah, tons and tons and tons of stuff. And we were talking not only about your fantastic career, but your fantastic diet. This was once a larger man, and now he's into this whole health thing. Yeah. I'm interested because, I've dropped a couple too. So,
well, ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at two formerly fat people.
There
right?
you go. We could never stand this close together. We had insulation. It was like the Michelin men. Yeah. But and 12 seconds.
What you see now used to be just one of us. I don't think I'm a has-been yet.
No, it's better than I never was.
Indeed.
Yeah. So radio, a couple of credits?
Here and there, yeah. Radio, oh gosh. Well, the three principal call letters, I think, the old KGMB in Honolulu, which is now morphed into KSSK. But that's an amazing success story that began in 1964 and continues to this very day. He put my demo on it, reel to reel. This is how long ago that was. And he listened to about 30 seconds and he snapped it off and he said, "You sound like a goddamn radio announcer."
The kiss of death.
And he said the words radio announcer like you would say child molester.
This is a good guy, Neil Ross.
Thank you. Very kind of you to say.
Thank you. So this is a lady who I had breakfast in bed with, but you didn't know that. I lived in Vegas for a while and used to hear you on the radio every morning.
Oh, that's fantastic.
It was wonderful.
Yes.
It was great. And I don't listen to a lot of radio, but it was a charming show. Who was that co-host?
Alan Stock. It was KXNT, and it was a political talk morning show. We had fun.
It was good stuff. Great. This is KERRI KASEM, ladies and gentlemen. Now there's a name to be reckoned with. So you're a radio personality.
Yes.
You're doing everything.
I am. I love radio. I've been in radio since '97, so yeah.
Cool. Casey's demise and subsequent journey through 3 countries has been phenomenal. What can
Yes.
you tell us?
Well, I mean, there's a positive outcome to this too, and I want people to know that we got to spend the last 2 weeks of my father with him, and it was all of us kids and his brother, my aunts, and one of his best friends, and he died with love and with peace, and that's not where he was heading. It was a horrible thing that happened to an incredible, loving, giving man. So, but there is, there's a positive, and I'm fighting now for rights for other children to have visitation rights, at least to be able to walk into a courtroom and not pay $100,000 to $300,000 for a conservatorship, but to just ask a judge to give them visitation to an ailing parent. And we have this law now, or it's a bill, and it's in 5 states. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank you.
And I would just, if you would endorse it, I think everybody's lesson in this thing, besides what you're fighting for, is advance directive on what you want done for you in your illness and final days.
That's right. In fact, there's a show on 790 KBC with host Naz Barouti. She's an estate, she's an attorney, and she was talking about my situation on air for the last year, and she invited me to be on the show, and then we became friends, and then she invited me to be her co-host, and we talk about that every single weekend. Naz.
Come on in. Attorney, estate planner, and now somebody who can advocate for correcting or not having to face the problems that KERRI did.
Right.
Advanced directives, I think, is an important part of that.
So our show is called Protecting Your Family. We have it every week, and KERRI's story is such an important one to share with people because her dad did plan, but someone came and took advantage of the situation. And when you have second marriages and children from a first marriage, it's really important to have the legal documents in place to protect those children so no one can come in and basically disrupt your whole life.
The art behind the camera gave us so much. I mean, you sent us so much audio and video of my father, and it was incredible because after the memorial that we had for my dad, we listened to it, my brother and my sister and I, and we're going through it. So thank you so much, Art. It was fantastic.
There's a guy I just saw on TV last night, Turner Classic Movies. There you were. I figured
Robert Osborne.
It was unbelievable. You look so different in person.
Thank you. It's my real hair. Yeah.
Now, you all know Ken Levine. He's been at every one of these lunches. We've introduced him 1,000 times, but Beaver Cleaver on radio, and then you say he's like a Renaissance man, which means you were born in the 1500s. A Renaissance man in the sense of radio and baseball play-by-play, and then, of course, your greatest accolades, writing for television, MASH, Cheers, Frasier, Emmys, and now taking over the universe for film with Turner Classic Movies.
Yes, well, it's all part of a master plan to achieve my highest goal,
which is
be a Benihana chef.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I want to be able to do that.
You dream that big.
So I figure, the most direct route is through baseball announcing and comedy writing.
It's a straight line.
And hosting. Yeah,
yes, because
TV
the Benihana guys, they're
it's
hosting
hard.
a little show.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Unless your name is Makanora, then yes, that's what you have to do. He's writing his own material. I have
Somebody
nothing
has
to do with it.
Exactly, because I can't afford you. Yeah. How do you like this material? Actually, it was about $1 a yard. But
it's
in
really
reality,
good. Hopefully, the Red Skelton Show will come back.
Oh, in black and white.
Yeah.
They're all here. The greats, the not so greats, and the spectaculars. Howard, tell us about anything.
Well, yeah, they've got this new Coke. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
This is what they've done is they've taken regular Coke.
Yeah.
They put pure cane sugar in there. They backed off about half of it, replaced it with stevia. So this is only 90 calories compared to 150.
And loaded back with what they told us not to have, which is sugar.
Somehow I'm getting cases delivered to my office.
It's amazing.
And I'll have that done because I've been doing that since I was taking payola back in the 60s.
And I want to talk to you about that case. It's still pending. Guys.
But isn't it fun to be here?
Yeah.
With, what gets me here is I started in radio and I was on the air for a long time and programmed, did stuff and then quit. But you never quit.
No, it's in your blood.
But to be here with this group of people, 2 people who influenced me in radio more than anybody are here today. Joey Reynolds,
yes,
who I grew up in Buffalo listening to. He'll tell you that, I must have been in my 20s when I was in high school. But I would listen to him.
Math wasn't your subject.
Yeah, well, it wasn't his, Then
the other person?
the great Shadoe Stevens is here.
Well, there you go. Doesn't get any better than that. So, Howard, good to see you. You're
Good
a
to see you,
regular
too.
every year, and we'll see you next
love
year.
being here, and it's good to see you.
Thank you.
Cut.
No, we don't cut yet. We start now.
Thank you for having us.
It's tails out,
on.
tails out, heads in. We got a little bit backwards there. From Palm Springs.
BRADFUHR.
Yes.
And Terry Gibson.
Well, there you go, Brad and Terry.
Representing the Michigan-Wisconsin factor of the
That's
late
right.
70s where we met. We're still alive.
Wow.
A lot of our friends like Art from that same time period in
He's
Michigan
still alive, too.
here.
Believe it or
Yeah.
not. So so Terry and I date back to WSPT in Stevens Point, Wisconsin. Legendary
A
top
great
40
starter station for a lot of records.
A lot of us
Yeah.
got our starts there, and
Yeah.
I guess we give some credit to Pat Martin, who gave us our start, found us in various places around the Midwest, and we went on to some fun times in radio and had a great career.
A lot of those A&M guys used to hang out, and Steve was one of those. We got to get Steve in here. We know there's
Yeah.
a quick burnout with people you don't know, but we got Steve Resnik.
We've got the man.
I'm
here.
wearing white in tribute to Steve.
This is Steve Resnik. Have you met him? You're the best. We were talking about
I know the 45 King.
I understand. You are so much the 45 King that the hole in the center of the 45 was modeled after you.
Well, I thank you, but I'll tell you what. I just love showing off the museum.
Yeah.
Whether it be people like today who have been in the industry in different facets, or whether someone brings their 9-year-old child, or an uncle who doesn't even know much about music. I love to see how music has transformed people in their life without them sometimes even knowing it. You know, oh my God, the Monkees. When I was, I love to hear that stuff. And, I love people to tell me the first record they ever bought, the first artist they ever loved, or the first concert they ever went to. I'm fascinated, whether it's Marvin Gaye coming over here, which he did, or Jim Croce, or people like that. Will Chamberlain spent the whole night here up to 3 in the morning wanting to hear every R&B song, every rhythm crossover, whether it be Sam Cooke or Little Willie Will John, from 55 to 62, his favorite stuff, or Steve Edwards when he came over here, people on TV. It's just so much fun. Mick Fleetwood with his wife for about 9 hours spending, to me, sharing this. And I don't mean to brag about the collection. We know it's valuable. We know it's one of a kind. When people see it, so many people, Casey Kasem told me, he says, why isn't this, Dick Clark told me, why isn't this in a vault somewhere?
Right.
And I say, because I want to share it with people. And if tomorrow there's an earthquake or tomorrow there's a flood, so be it. I don't care. I want to share this with people, and that's the fun of it.
And everyone who's here, no one's jaded. They're all reliving their childhood going, oh, I had this way back in 1962, and I've heard that story a dozen times this afternoon.
When I was growing up, I knew there was a Cooperstown, which I've still never been. I knew there was a Canton, Ohio for football. I have been there, but I hadn't been there at that point. I knew there was one for college football. I knew there was one for this, for that. Where's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Now there is one in Cleveland now, but there was nothing then, and I said, someone's got to do it.
And they don't have what you have.
They don't.
It's a whole different
I don't
thing.
mean to compare it. I think it's apples and oranges. I've
Right.
been there and I love it, but so many people come here and say, and of course they could be saying it just to be nice to me, but man, I've been to Cleveland and there's no comparison.
You can't get your hands dirty in
Correct.
Cleveland.
Correct.
I can touch this stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't touch that. No. If you
Like
want to
a
hear
beta.
if you want to hear a
Obviously,
Drifters record in
beta.
Cleveland, you got to push a button, and sometimes they don't even have those.
Just show me where your laser disc is. I know you have one somewhere.
There might be.
Now, here's a success story that'll blow you away. I'm going to talk about you, and you're going to be humble enough just to sit there and take it, all right? Pressing his nose against the glass, wanting to be in the business, hanging around all the big-time disc jockeys, New York and L.A., and finally, not only are you behind the glass now on the side with a microphone, you have conquered radio and have moved way beyond it to one of the premier voices in the business that I think I'm in by comparison, which is announcing for television. Steve Kamer, the K-Man.
Wow, that's very kind of you. I thought we were talking about somebody else. I didn't even realize it was me.
Well,
I wanted to meet this person.
You are a dear man with great pipes, by the way.
Thank you.
And so
Thank
friendly.
you. Thank you.
And thank you, FM. This is the guy that does Inside Edition promos and intros for the opening, and that's the show where something terrible happens, and then something fun happens. So he's the master of and plus then also.
Now, Inside Edition with Deborah Norville. I've been doing that for 18 years.
And they still haven't caught on.
That's all I do.
Fantastic.
No, that's not all I do.
But you have great friends, too.
I'm the voice of the New York Yankees Yes Network.
You're everywhere.
Oh,
no,
were you
seriously.
asking for my resume?
No,
I'm sorry.
No,
I was
but I
just
want you
going
to
on
introduce
about
this man who
Oh, this-
I've known but
Rick.
didn't really get a chance to talk to till today. Rick.
Come on over.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
How are
Squeeze
you?
in. It's
Thank you. Do you have a 3 shot? Actually, it'd be a 5 shot.
Yeah, there you go. That's if our
You're
buttocks
the
were
skinny
showing.
guy.
Yeah, well, it's a sandwich.
Yeah.
Exactly. With a lot of mayo, I can tell
That's
over
it.
the years. Yeah. that
Now,
whole
I was
connection.
10 years as the news director at Entertainment Tonight.
Wow.
And now I executive produce the Scripps Access Hour television show,
Called The List.
The List.
Yeah.
Do you know when you say this guy's everywhere? I was on the New Jersey PATH train last year.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
My
I'm
God.
not kidding.
Remove
I
your
called
garbage
him on
when
my
you
cell
exit
phone.
the train.
He does that. That's
right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, next stop, Hoboken. Please stand clear of the closing doors.
So I'm on the PATH train 2 years ago, and I pick up my cell phone and I said, "Can I get away from you anywhere?"
Now, we talked about Shotgun Tom, but he's a lightweight. He's a frickin'
Well,
lightweight.
since he's gone on his diet,
Yeah,
anyone
yeah.
next to me is a lightweight.
Well, that's a great body for radio.
That is.
It is. It's strong and powerful. Brian Roberts.
That's right.
K-Earth 101.
Yeah, I'm doing a fill-in there. I was at K-Earth 90 to 93.
Under Bob Hamilton, would that be?
No,
or
that
Johnny
was-
Kay?
That was under Mike Phillips. Bill Drake hired me to do mornings at
Over
K-Earth.
Scotch?
Yeah, over.
Did you meet him on
Wink.
Sherman Way there?
I met him over on Topanga Canyon at the Candy Canyon.
That's the one.
I have never seen anything like this in my life. What a great legend. What a great individual he
Could
is.
drink you under the table, too.
my God.
But stories.
I was drinking orange juice, and he's drinking a scotch like this, and he kept calling me a candy-ass chicken blank because I'm drinking orange juice. And a little trivia question, if they ever ask, who was Power 106's first morning man?
I'm
Who
going to guess it
signed-
was you.
It was me. I didn't know about it until the Friday before when Morgan called me and said that he had been fired and that they were changing format and that Rick Cummings would be calling me.
Rick Cummings?
Yeah. Hey, Rick.
Hi.
Nice guy. Very nice guy.
He told me he was.
Yeah, he was. And everybody loved him, and he usually let them. But he told me to be at the station at 5 o'clock on Monday morning, so I showed up at 5 minutes to 6. I was early as a jock. And he said, the new format's going on the air, you're doing it.
Here's a man who's done it all, news broadcasting. He's on a new platform, and I don't mean the IRT at the New York subway. He's involved with everything that's happened. Lou Simon.
Yeah,
Get to know
satellite
that
radio,
name.
satellite radio. And we should mention two people who are not here, but who would love to be here. Pat St. John, who does middays on the 60s channel, who was in San Diego yesterday and today had to take a red-eye flight back to New York.
Oh,
But he absolutely would have been here.
Yeah.
A much beloved disc jockey he is.
Indeed, well, a legendary.
And Flash Phelps, who does mornings for 13 years on the 60s on 6.
I didn't even realize, XM or.
He was there the day they signed on. He actually worked there for a year before they signed on.
Which was interesting, just sitting in a room playing
He
records
sat
to
in a room
himself.
pretending to be on the
Making
air.
Believe that's a phenomenal thing.
Which is great.
If you believe it, it will come.
That's right. And so he would love to be here too, and I'm going to push him to do it. He loves to travel these United States. We'll have to get him out here next
that'd be
January.
great.
Yeah. But we're having fun on satellite radio.
Yes.
Playing the oldies that everybody else has thrown in the garbage, apparently.
Well, I'm gonna say that I bought a Mercedes, and I should have done it a long time ago. And it was in the shop because they're very touchy.
Yes, yeah.
And the loaner they gave me was another Mercedes that had Sirius XM.
What'd you listen to? What'd you listen to?
50s
on 5,
60s at 6.
60s on 6. The other thing you can't get is this experience.
Well, this is phenomenal.
This is phenomenal. I have a talk show I do on the 60s channel on Sunday nights, and I'm going to lead Sunday night by talking about this event and this stuff and try to convey to the listeners that from autographed guitars to beach balls to promotional paraphernalia, jukeboxes, and every record that ever hit the top 100.
Every record that was ever on Billboard
Picture
charts.
sleeves, autographed records, trivia books. The house is a freaking museum that he sleeps in. This is unbelievable. I hope we do this here every year because there's stuff I haven't seen yet.
This is our second year, and I think we're coming back.
All right, hello. It's Art Vuolo here at the big Radio Dream Lunch. I guess I kind of started this thing with a few other friends by having lunch at
With legends.
Yes,
With legends, yeah.
with Marie Callender's out in Valencia.
Now you're brought to you by Krusty's Barbecue Beef.
That's right, almost.
I know, but it's good beef.
Yeah, it's a good time, and I'm
good
with.
beef, good barbecue.
Do you recognize this now? Where will we know your voice from? Give us
Oh,
something. Your voice.
well,
just say something in
in
Shadoe
in-
Stevens' voice.
In like the Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson. Well, Or Hollywood Squares, huh?
That's right.
What?
Hollywood Squares
Yeah.
was a biggie for you.
Yeah.
Say,
True.
look at Randy. Look what you missed.
Yeah.
Randy West has been our host on these interviews, but he had to
Randy,
take a
you're
break.
missed. You are
He had
missed,
to-
Randy. What the hell? Why are you not here?
He had to
You're
take a
leaving it all
break.
up to Art. Art is usually the camera guy, and he's
I am.
really good. Much better than Howard is.
Yes, we
Howard's
got-
doing camera today, so this is probably going to be unwatchable. And
We got
very
some.
embarrassing
What is
for
that
all
called?
of us.
Is that the union scale here? We got Howard for cheap,
Yeah,
right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
He's good that way.
He
though.
is good.
Yeah, he'll work. You know, he shows up.
Thank you
He's a
for
very
showing
good
up.
guy.
I
I'm
appreciate
glad
it.
to be here.
You're the best. And you get me for one more here at least because I've got none other than Kurt Kelly, who I remember when he was skinny. Oh, I should talk.
Ooh, yeah.
should
I
talk.
remember you when
Thank
you were skinny.
Well, I was good looking back
on
in
the
the
other
old
side of
days.
the camera in Detroit.
That's right.
At
you're-
Tower
But
92.
you're still a very good interviewer.
Thank
You
you.
do this wonderful show on, what's it called? Live TV? Is that what it's called?
It's called Actors eChat,
Mhm.
which we do through Live Video Inc., which is my company, and we
Right.
produce it with Pepper J Productions. We had you on the show recently.
Yes, a year ago.
Yeah.
I had no voice.
And you had an excellent show with.
But you cleaned it up in post. Isn't that what they say?
No, we actually let you be you, and that's the beauty of Art Volo.
Well, thank you
Radio's
very
best
much.
friend who is becoming television's best
I
friend.
had you on video at Tower 92 in Detroit, 1980.
Yes, with Joey Ryan.
Yes, God
And
rest his soul.
all those
a
guys
wonderful
there.
talent, you
Tom
know.
Shannon.
Yeah, all those guys.
Yeah.
They were great down in the Renaissance Center in downtown Detroit.
Absolutely.
So I'm glad you're doing. I'm glad you're.
Thank
doing,
you.
I'm so glad you were able to come, and you brought a couple of lovely girls
From Michigan, brought
yes,
some
from
Michigan people.
and we needed some girls. This has been a sausage fest for years. Nothing but guys.
This is the 6th annual
This
Sausage
is the
Fest. isn't it?
it's always been stacked, no women, and we
Wow.
and we had 2 women that said they were going to originally come, and unfortunately they weren't able to be here. So next year, you know who you
The
are.
2 women I invited
Yes,
showed up.
Yes. Well. Hey.
Well,
So
enough.
next year.
Yep.
All right, Ashley and Allison from Michigan.
Indeed.
So we have some girls here this year, huh?
We're happy
this
to
is
be here.
wonderful.
We're-
You know, we're
yeah.
just really happy to have you. And Ashley and Allison, your last name is Regal.
It is indeed. It
I
sounds
had a-
royal, right?
Yes, I had a Buick that was named Regal. Anyway, then a Century, and then a Park Avenue, and then I got too old for any of those kinds of cars. Anyway, so you were coming. You know Kurt Kelly.
We know Kurt Kelly, yeah,
I'm-
because
I'm
we're all
sorry.
Michiganders. Oh,
It's
well,
okay.
that's okay.
No,
we're
he's a great guy.
We're happy to know him. We're all
Great guy.
Michiganders,
And what do you girls do out here?
I'm in television and she's in radio.
Hey, the best of both worlds. What-
Indeed,
all
yeah,
the-
that's it.
What do you do?
We're keeping it alive, hopefully. I work for ABC News Nightline.
Oh, great show.
Yeah, thank you.
I stay up late for it.
I
now.
hope so. Yeah,
After
you-
Jimmy Kimmel. Yes.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Thank you.
Right. And what do you do now?
I am a DJ at KSPC Claremont 88.7 FM in the Inland Empire in LA, and I also work at the Echo Music Venue in Echo Park.
That's fantastic. I know where both those places are. That's
Awesome.
really great. I know Southern California very well for a Michigander. So.
The house is incredible. We could not believe the cool artifacts that we've seen today. So
Well, next year we're thinking of if we do this again here, you bring just $20 and a memorabilia piece from your collection and add it to the museum.
Look at that. He wore a test pattern for his shirt.
I
That's
did.
awesome. You could
I
just
did.
check your iris, baby. Am I-
And,
Yeah, it's-
and Richard over here has the same shirt.
Well, we'll get
So,
there in a minute.
yeah.
But, you called each other?
No, but after this we will.
A good idea. This is Freddie Snakeskin, by the way.
Hi, everybody.
And look at that. The skin isn't snakish, but it's such a great name. It's such a great name that it worked. And you know him from world famous K-Rock for a long time.
Well, I'm very proud and happy to be invited to this auspicious gathering. So many of the greats and the near greats of our industry, and to be included in that group. I haven't felt this young since the last time I visited my mother in assisted living.
Look, darling, it's you.
You wouldn't believe by looking.
Oh my God, he's the Coke boy.
I'm the Coke pusher.
He brings all the Coca-Cola, all the great drinks. You serviced the account today.
Yeah.
And this is Norm, by the way, and
Jacobovitz.
There you go. It's an
Yeah.
extra syllable that I
Yeah.
would have given it, but it makes you more distinguished.
Thank you.
That's what
I
I think.
appreciate
And this guy is just great. I mean, he's doing comedy, he's doing a little bit of everything,
be-
and all of it very well. And you're
Well, I
such a
appreciate
sweet guy.
Thank you. You know what? I love it. It's like the thing, and I'm sure you're the same with all the years you've been around. Is you at the end of the day, you want to put a smile on someone's face.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's what I love doing. If I'm giving drinks or donating, matter of fact, I donated a few items here.
Oh, wow.
I had a Bee Gees signed album that I gave to Steve.
Nice.
Today, as you saw when I came in, I was wearing
Not
a
only
Elvis,
the Beatles shirt,
but I had an Elvis Presley shirt on today.
and you don't
I
see
wo-
those often.
No, and I wore it on purpose because as soon as Steve looked at it, he says, "Oh my God, I want that for my room." So of course I unbuttoned it and folded it up. And here you go, Steve. It's going in the Elvis Presley room.
You know, I played a halfway house for girls that don't go all the way.
There you go.
All right.
They only went halfway.
That's it,
That's it.
exactly. The Coke Boy, Norm!
Thank you very much,
darling.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Greg, it's another year. Greg Ogonowski, and another year. Is this your third?
You know,
everybody talks.
I've
They
lost.
look at the phone. They're always looking at their phone. You have lunch with somebody, they're looking at their phone. I'm talking to you now for posterity, and you're looking at your freaking phone. You know?
And to answer your question originally, I've lost track and count as to how many of these I may or may not have been to. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Greg is at the cutting edge of the technology of carrying streams. You got more streams than my urologist.
There,
but seriously,
there
folks.
you have it.
Yeah, but we're going to be able to do all the internet stuff we want and listen to all the radio stations on the internet anytime, any place, anywhere. And that's probably what you're doing with your phone now.
That's
bringing
right.
up any
bringing
radio
up
station.
the app. There's a directory of over 5,000 high-quality streams for your dining and dancing pleasure.
Wow. 5,000. There aren't 5,000 good radio stations.
There probably aren't. You know, definitely different strokes for different folks, and you'll find it there at Streams Hi-Fi Radio. There you
Greg
go.
Ogonowski, we'll see you next year.
Thank you. See you
Thank
next
you.
year.
What a bunch of cool people. Did you love it? They're all here. Joey Reynolds from back east and everybody. Listen, thank you to Art Vuolo. Thank you to Steve Resnik. My goodness. And what a joy. And I want to thank Art again for letting me do the video. What a ball to talk with these people and to do it for you. And for all the kids watching on YouTube in the year 2072, there was a thing called radio. It was really fun.
Thank you very much, Randy West, as always. Did a marvelous job of interviewing just about everybody that was here. He knows just enough to BS his way through all of it. You know
made
that?
it through, yeah.
And my God, you look like Mr. Clean. Look at you, for God's and it's still white and it's still clean.
As the Standells said, sometimes good guys don't wear white.
That's right.
Okay.
People that are watching this on YouTube, if you weren't here and you know who you are, you better be here next time because he's thinking about maybe hosting it one more time. We don't know. I got to twist his arm. But anyway,
I'll tell you what, I
thank
have no
very much.
choice. You know why?
Why?
Each year we do this,
Yes.
I learn how to do it better next year.
Well, I was given an idea. I
Mhm.
think it was maybe from Lou Simon, who said next year you bring $20 and some kind of a collectible that you can add to your collection. Something you don't have, a jacket, a T-shirt, a record that's signed, a piece of memorabilia. You call them tchotchkes, is that what you call them?
We call them tchotchkes.
And bring something for his archive, and it will be forever enshrined here in the Western Annex of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I accept all donations.
There you go.
And I tell people that when they bring something, it will remain theirs forever, but it'll be here on loan.
That's right. Anyway, so listen, so glad that you were sat through this. I know it was
Are you
extra
still
long.
talking?
I know it was, get out of here. I know it was extra long this year, but that's because we couldn't shut up Randy. What can I tell you? No, it was marvelous. So we'll be here again, hopefully next year for the 7th year. This started out 6 of us, right, at Marie Callender's in Valencia. Look what it's turned out to be. And from Steve Resnik and myself, Art Vuolo, Happy New Year to everybody. Have a great 2015.